Almost any time I'm fishing with a Texas rig, I like to peg my weights, which is basically making that weight so it's tight up against the hook and it's not going to slide up and down my line. Now that's good if you're fishing around any sort of cover. Say you're flipping wood or punching it into heavy grass or skipping it under docks. If you want that bait to stay nice and compact and come through the cover all together in one piece or skip together, you're going to have to peg that weight. Now there's a lot of different ways to do it, but my favorite way is using rubber bands. No, these aren't just fancy jewelry I keep on my wrist. This is actually what I use to peg my weights, and I learned this from a professional lady angler when I was really young a long time ago. It's a really cool trick. So I'm going to tie just a normal Texas rig. I'm going to slide the weight up onto the line, and then I'm going to tie a Palomar knot onto an extra wide gap hook. Just like this, you double over your line, pass it through the eye, and tie Palomar knot. Always wet it and pull it down. Okay. Now here's the coolest part. When you cut that line off of your hook, that tag end, save that little piece of tag end. Just keep it near you, don't lose it. And then rig your Texas rig, your flipping rig or whatever. And this is the part where you actually get to peg the weight. So I'm going to take my weight, slide it down nice and tight. Doesn't have to be super tight. And take one of these rubber bands and just break it off your wrist. And this is how to peg with a rubber band. Super cheap. You can find rubber bands laying around everywhere. Buy a bag of 1,000 of them for $5, and it's going to be a lot cheaper than using bobber stops or something else like that. So I take this little piece of tag end and I double it over till these two ends are nice and tight together, and then pass it through the eye or through the weight, and I pull that down until that loop is fairly small, right like that. Then just take this rubber band and stick one end of it through that loop and then pull it down. And I'm going to pull it down till it starts to pull that rubber band into the weight, and I look at the back end and I want that rubber band to just butt out of the back end right there. Okay, then I pull that down. Now the final step, all you got to do is snip that little piece of rubber band. You want to be very careful when you're doing this part just to not cut that line at all or nick that line. And then you can cinch that weight right up against your Texas rig, and it's going to be nice and tight to it, and it's not going to slide up the line when you're trying to skip it or get it to go through heavy cover. So that's the rubber band peg. Give it a shot. I think you're going to like it.